Do you reflect Chris after the end of that game and sort of lament in particular that first quarter, even though you probably would have been pretty proud of that comeback?
Yeah, there's always two sides to a game like that. We started poorly, and knew that they can get hot. Even in games where they don't win, they get hot through periods of games. So it wasn't unexpected. Our response to it was a bit unexpected, but even then it wasn't as if even structurally we didn't think we were too bad. It's like it was a skill level as much as anything early on that gave them the ball back and some chances to put them under pressure in our forward half that we didn't take, and they bounced back. And when they're hot like that they are an emotional team, and when that emotion's running for them, they're very good. So there's that side we're disappointed with, and we'll look at it and obviously have a think about how we could adjust the way we play when the game's going like that. But then the other side, the positive, is really positive. We've got a very different team now to the one we've had throughout the years, but the thing that I really admire about them that's common amongst all the teams that I've coached is those players, they always think they can win, and that's not easy. I really admire that, and in the end it was probably a bit of luck sort of either way that was a difference towards the end of the game. It certainly wasn't a difference early in the game, but to give ourselves a chance to win is something that I'm proud of. But again, we're not walking away from the game happy, that's for sure.
What about you've obviously got scored from stoppages, and it seemed like the ball was coming out of the centre clearance pretty early too, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the first quarter. What did you put that down to?
Yeah, a few things. I think the credit should go to, in particular, Horn Francis. He was just the dominant player on the ground through that period, and everyone could see it, and we just couldn't stop it early enough. Now again, I suspect I'm going to say this quite a bit to quite a few issues. That was frustrating and annoying for us because we should have been better. The other side was Mullen coming into the game really early, looked like a Geelong player to me, and that's a hard job, that one. We're going to sub you into the game early. The hottest player in the game is on fire. Can you just go and cool him down a little bit? So for a guy who was overseas a couple of weeks ago and in Ireland a couple of years before that, was a really good sign for our future.
It's unusual to make a sub so early. How difficult was it to make that call to take the rest off?
Yeah, it's difficult, but what we weren't going to do was sit on our hands. We thought it was a really aggressive move, and it would be a risky move if the scoreboard was closer, but the game had already got away from us, and we thought we needed to act urgently. And it was nothing to do with the way that Reece was playing. It was more about some of the other changes we wanted to make, and on balance we thought it worked.
How did you see the Tom Stewart, Jed McEntee set up tonight?
I thought Stewart won his position. I thought it was a bit. I think we were too frustrated with the way that was going, the way the game was going early on. And again, you sort of play those teams where there's, like even the free kick Stewart gave away. It's like the umpire sees the first bit, it's probably a free kick to him, but they tend to see the reaction. And so Stewie has someone go to him every week. So that again, it wasn't, oh wow, this is different. It's just a matter of, like, collectively, I'm not just talking about Stewie here, how quickly can we regain our composure so we can give ourselves a chance to get back into the game. And I thought, particularly in the second half, Stewie was one of the players that led that comeback for us.
Do you think we played Hawkins up and down?
Oh no, we won't. Yeah, but that's been our plan. We'll tell you the week. Likely we'll tell you the week that we're doing these things, but we'll give you no more notice than that.
So what do you make of how, obviously he always wants the focus from us, he's on his performance and so on. Do you think he just needs a rest to get back to it, or do you think he's struggling?
No, I don't. I think he's going physically pretty well. Like, when you say he gets the focus from you guys, what do you mean? Like good and bad?
We've just been obviously talking about him for
Yeah.
and
Yeah. But I think you also mean that you talk about him when he's going well. Because he's topical. He's been such a good player, and he's still such an important player for us. It's not the only test, but if we kind of survey our opponents, do you want him to play or not? I'm assuming they would say not. So that's still the way I look at it. And again, I thought he had some really nice moments as the game went on as well. Again, like, we didn't get the ball forward much early on, so you're a much better journalist than some of them, Pete, so you'll think about the nuance and you'll look at it really thoroughly and make an informed assessment of the whole situation. But again, like, I don't really feel that motivated to defend it. I can't have it both ways. I'm like, I don't really get influenced by that talk, and then get defensive when people are critical. I guess where I sort of want to respond a little bit is like, are you saying Tom Hawkins has had a few quiet weeks out of 355 games, so there's a huge problem when we're 7-1? So I guess the only kind of negative emotion I feel is a bit of confusion around that. But I think it's a bit like the Stewart thing. Like, if you want to be the best player in the comp, the expectations around your performance are going to be higher than everyone else. So again, sort of take the good with the bad. I don't think and maybe again my go-to is, do I need to defend him a little bit here? He's like, no, I'm not going that well, but I'll keep hanging in.
Gary Rohan's first full game in seniors, how do you see him obviously bulked up with that late goal and that?
Yeah, we thought early on like he was looking really dangerous and was keeping us in it to an extent. A couple of those contests. As much as anything, when I look at Gary, I'm looking for those really dynamic moments to inform me as to whether he's near his best or not. And that's what I saw tonight. So it was less for me about his performance in this game and more what that might point to in the next month or two. I thought there were good signs there.
It's difficult after the rest because obviously you're not loath to complain. But what do you think about the holding the ball situation at the moment? Because it seems players are being a lot more opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, just a couple of quick observations around a couple of rules. So it's always risky after you've lost a close game to do this. But I think it's a head coach's responsibility to defend the umpires whenever they can. And one of the best ways you can defend the umpires is, one, to point to how hard the game is to umpire. Like, by world standards, you look at other games, it's got to be the hardest. But then sometimes they just make bad decisions, like all of us, in the heat of the moment. So the holding the ball one, at the moment, you're getting a lot more time with the ball. And the biggest risk that I see is, as opposed to some frustrations from the supporters and the coaches and the players, is that the players are really clear that they've got to be careful taking a player to ground in a tackle. And at the moment, you can be spun 360 and still get time to get rid of the ball after having prior opportunity. And so the players are saying, well, Jake Kolodjasny gave up a goal against Carlton 2 weeks ago where he's holding on to a player. 2 years ago, he would have taken him to ground. But we're telling him, don't do that. The Carlton player just turns around and kicks the goal because Jake can't take him down. So I would imagine that the umpires they've got, like, the rules are there. They don't need to change the rules. It's kind of like, that is a whistle and a ball up straight away, or it's holding the ball. And at the moment, because I'm a big, some people say, there should be no prior opportunity at all. That's ridiculous in my opinion. You should protect the ball player who's trying to keep the game going, and if he hasn't had prior opportunity, he should get time to try to get rid of it. But if it's clearly locked up, play a stoppage. And again, maybe there is this sort of fear, and I think it is fear-mongering, that if we have too many stoppages, the game doesn't look as good. I just completely disagree with that, but I always have. So, and then the other one is the advantage rule. Like, every sport in the world that has an advantage rule that I can think of doesn't blow the whistle when there's a free kick because they want to see whether the advantage is there or not. And in rugby, which is not as a continuous game as ours, rugby union, sometimes the play goes on for a minute before the referee blows his whistle and then pays the advantage. But we don't have that rule. It's one worth thinking about. The one tonight, the rule is, if the play's continuous and the team chooses to take the advantage, then the umpire calls play on. But so if we go back to the first bit, there's 4 of them out there who sometimes I think get in each other's way a little bit. The game is so ballistic. There are so many players around the ball. Maybe we should just go back to, this is a really, really hard game to umpire, and you go in with your expectations that they're going to make a hell of a lot of mistakes because there's not much more they can do. And I think over the years, umpiring has improved. And I think the young umpires coming through are contributing to a higher standard. Now, whether you want 4 of them out there, because again, in our game, choosing not to blow the whistle is a decision. The more you throw out there, it only takes one to blow the whistle and he overrules the rest of them. So, golden rule for a coach who's lost a game: do not talk about the umpires.